Well, somebody out there with an eagle eye watching one of my videos noticed I was using this red device here to set up the depth of plunge for my router. Well, these are the Fastcap Mag shims, and I have the metric version. And basically, combined here you have 25 millimeters of availability of shimming and spacing. It's for setting up depth of plunge, or for setting up your saw or a drill press, whatever you need to set up and get consistent distances or measurements. This is this little metal piece here that's 1 millimeter thick, and then each one of these red shims is 2 millimeters thick. So let's say that I want to set my router up for a depth of plunge of 5 millimeters. Now, on this particular router here, it's easy to read the scale, okay, but maybe your router isn't as easy to see, and sometimes I have a hard time seeing this scale, depending on the lighting here, because as you can tell, I wear glasses. So with the mag shims here, it takes out the guesswork for me. So if I know I want a 5 millimeter depth of plunge, I'm going to take 2 of the shims, which is 2 millimeters a piece. There's 4 millimeters, and then the 1 millimeter shim. So there's my 5 millimeters. Push the plunge of the router down so that my bit is touching the top of the surface I'm going to route out. And then I need to loosen and zero out my stop rod so that my stop rod is hitting a turret. And then I would just lift this up and drop it down and lock it in place. So there is my depth of plunge set at 5 millimeters. I'll bring this in so you can see that I know I could trust this scale, but I also know that I can trust the mag shims because they're dead on accurate, just like my router here. So just like that, I have set my router up for a 5 millimeter depth of plunge. So another nice thing about the mag shims is they have each corner here set at a different radius so you can soften an edge of a board. So let's say that this board represented a top cap for a handrail for a deck. Now most guys will do it like a 45. I prefer a rounded edge. I like that look personally myself. Each one of these corners has a different number on him. Here's 3, here's 5, inside of 5, another 5, here's 10, and then you got 20. So let's say that if I didn't have the mag shim and I wanted to soften this edge up by 10 millimeters. Well, normally what you would do is you take a tape measure and you would mark 10 millimeters in one direction, mark 10 millimeters in the other direction. Then you got to walk around and find something that's round so you can connect the dots. So if you did find something, then you'd have to come over here and connect the dots, and then do the same thing on this side and hope that it's consistent and it lines up. But with the mag shims, it's already done for you. All you have to do is come over here and make sure that the front and the sides are flush with the shim of the board, and mark your radius. Flip it over and do the same on the other side. You can see here already that by me using the tape measure, I wasn't even close to being what would be pleasant on the eyes of 10 millimeters. So you just take a sander now, just like that, my board on the edge, nice and softened, right up to my lines, ready to go. Another nice little surprise about the mag shims is they work with the True 32 system of cabinet building. So they have these 2 Rollo holes here that is 37 millimeters up from the front and 32 millimeters apart. It's perfect if you're doing some retrofitting like I did. I had a friend who had a vanity, so I needed to make 2 doors. She had this style of hinge before. I'm sure you guys seen these hinges before. This little bit is exposed. She didn't want to see the hinge anymore. She wanted a European concealed hinge. So I built 2 new doors, and with the mag shim, I was able to take the mag shim And if you can imagine this piece of wood being the inside of the cabinet, I figured out the center of where the hinge is going to be, and there's a center line here on the shim. So let's say that this line represented the center. I'd come in here and line this up. Make sure that the front of the shim is flush to the front of the cabinet, and just take a punch and punch a hole. Now I'm set up and ready to go to install this hinge for a quick retrofit of a vanity cabinet. So these mag shims have a lot of possibilities and a lot of nice features. So that's the Fastcap Mag shim. This is the metric version. There is an imperial version. I believe they're in 1/8 inch increments. Could be wrong. But if you're watching this video and you're using these mag shims and you're using them in a way that I haven't shown, please leave a comment. Let me know how you're using them, because I'm sure there's more ways to use these that I haven't figured out yet. So if you're using them, leave a comment. Let me know what you're doing with them, so I can get a pointer from you. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.